Hare Krishna, everyone.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, प्रणाम माता जी।
हरे कृष्ण माता जी,
हरे
प्रणाम
कृष्ण
माता
माता
जी।
जी, प्रणाम
प्रणाम।
जी प्रणाम माता जी।
Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna. Okay, I think we'll start. Just one second. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jadirayet Nashtaprayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto, first chapter, and we will do verse number 11 and verse number 12 today. Okay, so half of you will read verse 11, half of you will read verse 12. Okay. Shri Badrayane Uvacha Karmana Karma Nirharo Nahe Atyantika Ishyate Avidvad Adhikaritvad Prayashchitam Vimarshanam. Shubha Rao Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Dhanna Pranam.
श्री बादरायण रिवाच कर्मणा कर्म निर्हारो नह्यात्यत्निक इष्यते अविद्वदधिक ऋत्वा प्रायश्चित्तं विमर्शनम। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you. Madhuma Hare Krishna, Kant Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, प्रणाम माता जी।
Dhanna Pranam.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्री बादरायणीर्उवाच कर्मणा कर्म निर्हारो न हि आत्यन्तिका इष्यते अविद्वत् अधिकारित्वात् प्रायश्चित्तं विमर्शनम्। थैंक यू माता जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Venkat Narasimha Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhu, please unmute yourself.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी। श्री बादरायणिर्वाच कर्मणा कर्म निर्हरो न यात्यन्तिका इष्यते अविद्यात् अधिकारित्वात् प्रायश्चित्तं विमर्शनम। हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Prakash Rao Prabhuji, Hare
ओम
Krishna.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। श्री बादरायण उवाच कर्मणा कर्म निर्हारो न आत्यन्तिक इष्यते अविद्यात् अधिकारत्वात् प्रायश्चित्तं विमर्शनम्। हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Vijay Kumari Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, प्रणव माता जी।
Dhanna
ओम
Pranam.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्रीपाद नारायणीर्उवाच कर्मणा कर्म निर्हारो न हि आत्यन्तिक इष्यते अविद्वत् अधिकारत्वात् प्रयाश्चित्तं विमर्शनम्। हरे कृष्ण माता जी, थैंक यू माता जी।
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Vijay Kumari Mataji, Hare Krishna. Oh, Chitra Mohini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्रीबादरायणीर्उवाच कर्मणा कर्म निर्हारो नाहात्यन्तिका इष्यते अविद्वद् अधिकारित्वा प्रायश्चित्तं विमर्शनम्। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। थैंक यू माता जी।
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Anjali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Dhanna
श्री
Pranam.
बादरायणीः उवाच कर्मणा कर्म निर्हारः न हि आत्यन्तिकः इष्यते अविद्वत् अधिकारित्वात् प्रायश्चित्तं विमर्शनम्। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Krishna. Pran Nandini Madhvi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, प्रणाम माता जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्री बादरायण उवाच कर्मणा कर्म निर्हारो न हि अत्यन्तिक इष्यते अविद्वाद् अधिकारित्वात् प्रायश्चित्तं विमर्शनम। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। थैंक यू माता जी।
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay, rest of you, please keep your hands raised and you'll read the next verse. Shri Badrayane Padaryanihi Uvacha. Sukdev Goswami, the son of Vyasdev, replied, Karmanam, by fruitive activities. Karma nirahara, counteraction of fruitive activities. Na, not he indeed. Atyantikaha, final. Ishyate, becomes possible. Avidvad adhikaritvad, from being without knowledge. Prayashchittam, real atonement. Vimarshanam, full knowledge of Vedanta. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Ki Jai. Sukhdev Goswami, the son of Ved Vyas, answered, My dear king, since acts meant to neutralize impious actions are also fruitive, they will not release one from the tendency to act fruitively. Persons who subject themselves to the rules and regulations of atonement are not at all intelligent. Indeed, they are in the mode of darkness. Unless one is freed from the mode of ignorance, trying to counteract one action through another is useless because this will not uproot one's own desires. Thus, even though one may superficially seem pious, he will undoubtedly be prone to act impiously. Therefore, real atonement is enlightenment in perfect knowledge, Vedanta, by which one understands the supreme absolute truth. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Guru Sukdev Goswami has examined Parikshit Maharaj, and it appears that the king has passed one phase of the examination by rejecting the process of atonement because it involves fruitive activities. Now Sukdev Goswami is suggesting the platform of speculative knowledge, progressing from Karma Kand to Gyan Kand. He is proposing Prayashchittam Vimarshanam. Real atonement is full knowledge. Vimarshana refers to the cultivation of speculative knowledge. In Bhagavad Gita, karmis who are lacking in knowledge are compared to asses. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 15, Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradhama maya aprita jnana asrim bhavamashritaha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Thus, karmis who engage in sinful acts and who do not know the true objective of life are called mudhas, asses. Vimarshan, however, is also explained in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 15, where Krishna says, Vedeshcha sarver ahameva vedya. The purpose of Vedic study is to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one studies Vedanta but merely advances somewhat in speculative knowledge and does not understand the Supreme Lord, one remains the same mudha. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 19, one attains real knowledge when he understands Krishna and surrenders unto him. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. To become learned and free from material contamination, therefore, one should try to understand Krishna, for thus one is immediately liberated from all pious and impious activities and their reactions. All right, verse number 12. Nashnata pathyam evanam vyadhayo abhibhavanti hi evam niyama krit rajan shane kshemaya kalpate. Revati Ratnangi Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी। प्रणाम माता जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नाश्रतः पद्यमेवानं व्याजो अभिभवन्ति हि एवं नियम कृत्राजन शैनः क्षेमया कल्पते। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Hare Krishna. Madhumati Vilasni Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी। दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नाश्नतः पथ्यमेवानं व्याधयो अभिभवन्ति हि एवं नियम कृदार्जुन शनैः क्षेमाय कल्पते। थैंक यू माता जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Krishna. Usha Devati Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी। प्रणाम माता जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नाश्नातः पत्यम एव अन्नं व्याध्याय अभिवन्ति हि एवं नियमकृत राजन शनैः क्षेमाय कल्पते। थैंक यू माता जी। हरे कृष्णा।
Krishna. Na, not ashnataha, those who eat pathyam suitable, eva, indeed, annam, food, vyadhyaya, different types of disease, abhibhavanti, overcome, he indeed, evam, similarly, niyamakrit, one following regulatory principles, Rajan, O king, Shane, gradually, Kshemaya, for well-being, Kalpate becomes fit. Translation by Shrabrapad ki jai. My dear king, if a diseased person eats the pure uncontaminated food prescribed by a physician, he is gradually cured, and the infection of disease can no longer touch him. Similarly, if one follows the regulatory principles of knowledge, he gradually progresses towards liberation from material contamination. Purport by His Divine Grace Shrabrapad ki jai. One is gradually purified if one cultivates knowledge, even through mental speculation, and strictly follows the regulatory principles enjoined in the Shastras and explained in the next verse. Therefore, the platform of Gyan, speculative knowledge, is better than the platform of Karma, fruitive action. There is every chance of falling from the platform of Karma to hellish conditions. But on the platform of Gyan, one is saved from hellish life, although one is still not completely free from infection. The difficulty is that on the platform of Gyan, one thinks that he has been liberated and has become Narayan or Bhagwan. This is another phase of ignorance. Ye anye aravindaksha vimuktamaaninas tvai asakta bhavada vishuddha buddhaya aruchya krichena param padam tataha patanti adho anaditra yusmat angreha. Bhagavatam 10th canto, 2nd chapter, verse 32. Because of ignorance, one speculatively thinks himself liberated from material contamination, although actually he is not. Therefore, even if one rises to Brahmagyan, understanding of Brahman, one nevertheless falls down because of not taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Nonetheless, Gyanis at least know what is sinful and what is pious, and they very cautiously act according to the injunctions of the Shastras. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjan Shalakaya Chakshuranmiltam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate. Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanuste Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namam Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prishtaya, Bhutale, Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Prashayine, Nevishesha Shnavadi Paschatya Deshadarne. Hey. Sukdev Goswami, the son of Ved Vyas, answered, My dear king, since acts meant to neutralize impious actions are also fruitive, they will not release one from the tendency to act fruitively. Persons who subject themselves to the rules and regulations of atonement are not at all intelligent. Indeed, they are in the mode of ignorance. Unless one is freed from the mode of ignorance, trying to counteract one action through another is useless, because this will not uproot one's desires. Thus, even though one may superficially seem pious, he will undoubtedly be prone to act impiously. Therefore, real atonement is enlightenment in perfect knowledge, Vedanta, by which one understands the supreme absolute truth. My dear king, if a diseased person eats the pure uncontaminated food prescribed by a physician, he is gradually cured and the infection of disease can no longer touch him. Similarly, if one follows the regulatory principles of knowledge, he gradually progresses toward liberation from material contamination. Okay, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, which is called as the prescribed duties of mankind. And we are reading from first chapter of this amazing canto, which is called as what? The
History of life of
Life of Ajamila.
The history of life of a Jamil. Yes. So, and Parikshit Maharaj asked question to Sukdev Goswami, because he's a Vaishnava, out of the compassion of his heart, that how the humanity can be saved from their sufferings in the hellish planets. Because he knows that Sukdev Goswami, if he can describe what is going on there, he can also describe how one may actually not get there. So Parikshit Maharaj asked this question. Sukdev Goswami answered first proposition. What was the first proposition given by Sukdev Goswami? How one can avoid going to the hellish planets? What was the first proposition?
Atonement according to Shastra.
So yeah, the process of atonement. So, if somebody has done a sinful act, then they have to atone for it by doing some pious act. So did Parikshit Maharaj accept that? Did he accept it? Parikshit Maharaj said,
No,
yes,
Mataji.
atonement
No,
is the way.
Mataji.
No, no,
No.
no.
What was the reason that Parikshit Maharaj gave for rejecting the proposition of atonement?
Because once that atonement is done, then that propensity will still remain.
He wants to eradicate the root cause of the problem.
He's saying because atonement is that it's not that the person becomes a professional sinner. It's not that the person stops refrains from sinful activity. He keeps on going into the circle of atoning, sinning, atoning, sinning, atoning, sinning. He says, we discussed that the root cause of doing a sinful activity is ignorance, but not always, because sometimes we see that somebody is punished for their sinful activity. We hear from Shastras and Acharyas that somebody who does sinful activity is liable for punishment in this manner, but we still cannot refrain. A person cannot refrain itself out of the habit. And it's called vimarshaha. What was the word used? He describes a particular word in the verse, which explains that this is very, very sorry. So this is very, what is the word? Vivasvaha. Vivasvaha. So vivas is a Hindi word also, right? That's like one becomes like helpless. So vivasvaha, unable to control himself. So it says, and then he compares it to like a bathing of a elephant. So this sinning, atoning is compared to the bathing of an elephant. That elephant takes bath and then comes out on the shore and then again puts the dirt on his head and body. So Parikshit Maharaj says, thank you, but no thank you. Atonement is not the process. So Prabhupada is writing in this verse that he passed the exam. So Sukdev Goswami was testing the intelligence of Parikshit Maharaj and he passed it with flying colors, that it is not the process. Now Sukdev Goswami is bringing another level of exam. He's proposing from the process of atonement, he's validating that yes, persons who subject themselves to the rules and regulations of atonement are not at all intelligent. Now he's proposing the second level by which one can save oneself from getting into the hellish conditions of life. And what is that level? By cultivation of speculative knowledge. This is also an exam. Will Parikshit Maharaj pass it? Will he pass it? Will he accept the process of speculative knowledge as the real atonement?
No, Mataji.
No, Mataji.
So what will happen? What will he accept?
Then it was service.
Yeah, he'll accept the bhakti. Yeah, but then we are going through the process from Karma Kand to Gyan Kand, right? Progressing from Karma Kand to Gyan Kand. But better than Karma Kand is Gyan Kand. It is better to have some sort of knowledge, because that knowledge will separate one from deciding what is pious, what is impious. Yes, it will help one separate, okay? But then what will give strength? What will give one strength from following that okay, I'm now going to do this, something which is sinful, still not on the level of bhakti. What will? Tell me. The knowledge will give us the idea, or will give us the discriminatory power that this is pious, this is impious. Okay, but the strength to follow that process of this is pious, this is not pious, will come about by what? You can raise your hand or write me in the chat. By what? Don't go to bhakti yet. We are not in bhakti. We are still by what? Yes, Madhumai Krishna Kant Mataji.
By taking shelter at the lotus feet of Guru and Gauranga.
No, you're going to bhakti. No, we're still in Jnana Kant. Okay, that's the ultimate answer, but over here, it's in the verse. Okay, thank you, but thank you. Pran Nandini Madhvi Mataji.
It is by cultivation of knowledge, Mataji.
By cultivation of knowledge, one develops the knowledge, right? That this is pious, this is impious. But the power, the strength to follow what is pious and what is impious will come by what in Jnanakand section? Okay, thank you. So it says here, see, by following the rules and regulations, by tapasya. Okay, it says in the second verse that if by following, okay, just by knowing is not enough. But if one follows the regulated principles of knowledge, he gradually progresses towards liberation from material contamination. So Gyan itself is not enough, but one has to follow that Gyan. And how do we do that? By following the regulated principles of knowledge, which will be described in the next verse. By cultivating certain qualities, by do's and don'ts. And Prabhupada also gives us do's and don'ts. So tapasya is very, very important. Okay, unless and until one takes on the tapasya. Now, tapasya is something which naturally I don't like to do. Naturally, I don't have a tendency to do this, but I'm going to do it because there is a higher principle attached. That's tapasya. Okay, so it says, okay, I don't like to get up at 4 in the morning, but I'm going to do it because there's a higher principle attached. So Prabhupada explains that without doing tapasya, one will not be able to follow the injunctions of the Gyan. So it's and forget about bhakti. Just forget about bhakti. Bhakti is not going to happen if one is not following the rules and regulations of the Gyan. Even in Nectar of Devotion, we discussed that, right? The progression from sadhana bhakti to raganuga bhakti to ragatmika bhakti to bhava bhakti to prema bhakti, right? There's a process, there's a hierarchy of how do we get there. One cannot just get there just by speculation. Then one is in the speculative platform. So it says that if a person who is diseased, first of all, understand that the process of atonement is completely slashed out here because it is actually considering the mode of ignorance. Sukdev Goswami described in 2-3 verses what is atonement, and then he's saying that it is actually who subject themselves, people who subject themselves to rules and regulations of atonement are not at all intelligent. Indeed, they're in the mode of darkness. Why? Because one fruitive activity will not be able to nullify the desire to do another fruitive activity. So it's a very, very low platform. And Sukdev Goswami is giving us a warning. Okay, this is called Shastra Chakshu. Shastra Chakshu means looking through the eyes of the Shastras, not looking through the eyes of our mind. We are looking at the world through the eyes of our mind. It's just telling us that what is there for me to enjoy here? What is there for me? The Shastra Chakshu is looking through the eyes, looking at the world or looking at our own self through the eyes of the Shastras. So here, Sukdev Goswami is giving us a warning that even though one may superficially seem pious, he will undoubtedly be prone to act impiously. So that is the problem with Ajamil, right? He's superficially looking very pious. He's born in a Brahmin family. He knows all the Vedic mantras and tantras and worships, but not able to contain because the desire is not uprooted. Okay, so desire is not uprooted. So we also have the problem. This is a problem. Like we don't want to do something, but then it get compelled to do it. Why? Because the desire is not uprooted. Now we can say, okay, because there is lust. Yes, the lust is a symptom. Okay, there is a symptom, but the real infection is the desire that has not been uprooted. So how do we do that? So Sukdev Goswami, following the Jnanakand Marg, is explaining, giving an example that if a diseased person eats the pure uncontaminated food prescribed by a physician, gradually the infection will not touch the person and they will become free of the infection. So like that, if we follow the rules and regulations given to us by the parampara, gradually, the process is gradual. This is gradually cured, and follow it with determination, with utsaha, dhairya, with patience. Then the infection of disease can no longer touch him. We will no longer be bothered by it, even though there may be all these desires floating around at the subtle level, or even though there may be same objects around us which were very, very attractive in the past, even though there may be so many things, but they will not touch us because of the strength of the tapasya. So Prabhupada spends a lot of time in his lecture in this particular 2 verses explaining that how tapasya is so important and how the 4 regulatory principles are actually the foundation of preventing ourselves from getting into in touch with the disease of the material world. Okay, Krishna says that too, that vimarshanam, prayaschitta vimarshanam, right? Prabhupada is explaining the word vimarshanam means that full knowledge of Vedanta. Full knowledge of Vedanta is described in Bhagavad Gita as Vedescha sarver aham eva vedya. The end of the Vedic knowledge is me. From all the Vedas, I have to be understood. So if somebody who has not come to the conclusion of the Vedas, which is Krishna, then he is also on the category of Muda. I'm not saying it, Prabhupada is writing it. So understand that we may go on in suckle, that, okay, I've become a very big knowledgeable person. I'm reading Shastras. I am following the rules and regulations. I am, able to discriminate what is pious, what is impious. I am developing somewhat of a strength to avoid what is impious. But is that enough? Is the next question. Is that enough? So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that though that's not enough, because the problem is that on the platform of Gyan, one thinks that he has become liberated and has become Narayana Bhagwan. Okay, and then this is a verse that Aruchakrachena Padam Padam Tattha Padanti Adha Anadrita Yushmat Angriyaha. So one can, one thinks that, okay, I have come to the level of Brahman platform because I am 100 feet above the ground. People who are walking on the ground are getting succumbed and consumed by these Pishatiya Maya Chare, Japatiya Dhare, like Pishacha or witch. Maya is like Japatiya Dhare, is like captured. When a ghost captured a body of someone, it uses the body of that particular living entity for its own comfort. It uses the nervous system, it uses the thought process, it uses everything for its own purpose, like that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Pishachiya Maya Tare Japatiya Dhare. Like that, the Pishacha or the ghost or witch in the form of Maya has now captured this conditioned soul and is making it act in its own way. But somebody in Gyan is now 100 feet above the ground. They are able to see this from distance. So they themselves start thinking, this is a warning, a second warning that, okay, I am not there. I'm not in that mode. I have that understanding that what to do, what not to do. But then it comes with another level of ignorance, is that I have become God. Okay, so he is also going to reject this on this ground, that this is not what is going to be the real atonement, because real atonement will not make us yes, it will uproot it will not uproot the desire, it will burn the impious activities, it will burn the impious activity results. And the example given in the next verse is, as the fire consumes all the bamboo trees. When the fire consumes all the bamboo trees, all of the bamboo trees are burned down. But what is the problem? If all the bamboo trees have all the fruitive, if one is completely free from the sinful reactions of one's own sins, and comparison is given of a bamboo tree being burned down by fire, so what is the problem, huh? Because we are burned down, the bamboo trees are burned down, or the sinful reactions are now burned down by the verdict of the knowledge, by following rules and regulations, by tapasya. But what is the problem? What has not happened yet? What is the problem?
The root of the bamboo tree is remaining, so it will come up again in the rainy season.
Yeah, so the root is still there under the ground. And when the season is amiable, then the bamboo tree will again take its form. Okay, what does it mean? That the Gyan is also at the superficial level. It has definitely, it's definitely better than the karma kandya vichara of atonement, where just do a pious activity for impious activity. But the knowledge has prevented one from doing further impious activity. So that is definitely superior to that. But the problem is that the desire is somewhere sitting in a seed form. And a little bit of a leak, yesterday I was giving example of this airplane 30,000 feet above the ground, and little crack in the middle. The air seeps in, everything is damaged. So little, I think there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita too, if anyone remembers that verse where Krishna says that even if the senses are so strong that they may actually bewilder a person who's trying to control them, who's even trying to control them. Chitra Krishna Sevini Mataji, what is that verse? I think it's in 6th chapter. The senses are so strong that even if one is trying to control those senses, they may get subdued. The person may get subdued. Yeah, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
If you remember, you tell me. Okay, so I remember reading that verse that Krishna interestingly says that the person, even though a person who's trying to control the senses, can also get subdued and also get overpowered by the desire. My goodness, that's so, there's this person who's not trying to control the senses at all. They're actually trying to enjoy the senses to the fullest capacity. And I don't know what the full capacity is. I don't know, because they're like Samadhinam Katina Kalita Palita Durnidesha, like one devotee saying that they're always desiring more and more and more. Yes, Prakash Rao Prabhuji. You know the verse? Prabhu, you can unmute. Your hand is raised. Okay,
Hare Krishna Mataji. You were asking some verse.
What is the verse?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. My granddaughter disturbed me the 2 minutes. But
Okay.
sir, okay. I want to tell something. I think you have not finished the class. Okay.
No, not yet. Give me
Okay,
2
Mataji.
minutes.
Sir, I will.
Krishna. Okay. So the senses also, Krishna is saying that even though somebody, there's a person who's actually enjoy the senses like haywire, like go wild. And I'm telling you, I think India is also coming to the same terms, because what we read in the news nowadays is like there's not much difference, unfortunately. Like enjoy the senses to the fullest. Let's say that initially, if there was like one way of making a coffee cup, how many ways are there now? I mean, not that we have to go research them, but like I think there are like so many ways of making this, brewing this seed of cocoa or coffee bean and making like so many ways. So just expanding the arena of enjoying the senses. Or initially, if there was one way of wearing a sari, like so many ways are coming up. People are like putting their brain into something very like, how do I do it the best? And then they want to pose themselves as like they are like the content creator or fashion creator, and this is the new way. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go a little tangential. One evening, I was sitting with my friend in Gita Nagri, and we were watching Radha Madhav Mayapur like Mangalarti. And she said she recognized the pujari. She said this pujari is like forever. He's like there forever. One who is doing the thing. And she said that he is married to a devotee from Japan who is a fashion designer who had come to Mayapur for a visit, and she got very inspired by the whole the culture and everything. And she met Jayapataka Maharaj, and Jayapataka Maharaj told her in the first visit that you're a fashion designer. Why don't you design for Radha Madhav? And then she went back to Japan, but she couldn't stay back. So she came back, she took initiation. Jayapataka Maharaj married her off to this devotee who's a pujari during Mangalarti time. And she is now has been like the what do you say, has been like the head fashion designer for Radha Madhav's dresses. I was telling Paijada that I saw Basant Panchami time. I saw the devotees in the DD room in Radha Madhav temple in Mayapur, how they were like designing the dress, a very beautiful flower dress of Radha Madhav. And I said, I thought this lady looks Korean or Japanese. So basically, where I'm going is that we can have the tendency, we can have the talent, but and we can have they look at Radha Madhav dresses, like hardly they repeat any dress. We can actually increase our avenue of sense gratification for Krishna unlimitedly. But what is happening now is because of the lack of this knowledge, because of the lack of this consciousness, the conditioned soul, like we get very busy in expanding the avenue of our sense gratification in other areas. It's not that we become desireless, we just like doubted our desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in unlimited manner, unlimitedly. I mean, look at their DD kitchen, DD room, the fashion designing, even in this place, Vrindavan also, they opened the DD department, right, for designing the dresses. So there is no end. And Prabhupada says when you do that for Krishna, then your own desires get cleansed off. You just like washed off. So we don't have to go and like target one desire. Everything becomes so nice. But jnanis are definitely better than karmis. But jnani, the problem is that the seed is not uprooted. And I wish I know that verse. I think somebody wrote to me 2.67.
Hare Krishna Mataji, 6th
2.60.
chapter you don't know, but 2.67 and 2.60 Mataji. 6.7 says intellect takes away and 6.0 takes mind, takes away the senses. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. 2.6. Senses are so strong. This one. The senses are, thank you. Senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjun, that they forcibly carry the mind even of a man of discrimination who's endeavoring to control them. We're trying to control the sense, but still cannot happen. Okay, and what's 2.67? Is a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water. Even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. You see, we have all these checkpoints in our bhakti. That's why it's important to be in touch with Shastras every day, because it arms us. It just gives us this arm that, okay, I'm going to get out on this war field of material world, but I'm going to be protected because I have this particular discriminatory agency through the words of the Shastras. Okay, and then we have to nurture it with the regulations and rules and chanting and association, everything on regular basis, every day, because the attack is every day. Okay, I think I'll stop here and I'll take any discussion or complaints or questions. And I think Prakash Rao Prabhu was wanting to say something. So understand, take home point, that Parishit Maharaj has passed the exam. Sukadeva Goswami has said that, yeah, the process of atonement is actually not at all useful. The process of atonement is actually is done by people who are in the mode of darkness. So that speculative knowledge is better. And then speculative knowledge bundled with regulative principles, not just speculative knowledge. Speculative knowledge, one know by the verdict of speculative knowledge, one understands what's pious, what impious, but the strength to follow the pious and not follow the impious comes by the verdict of tapasya, of following the rules and regulations. But that is also, there's a problem that, one seed is not uprooted, and one may be able to see the other people who are walking on the ground under these clutches of which called Maya and dancing on terms of sense gratification. So one starts thinking themselves that I'm good, I'm Krishna, I'm Brahman, Bhagwan, I'm Narayan. So that's the problem. Okay. Questions, reflections, realizations, corrections, complaints. Prakash or Prabhu, you can unmute.
Hare Krishna Mata, just I want to add what I understand from these two slokas is Jnani because he, after his acquiring this Shastrak knowledge, so what he will say, although he is not able to achieve the Brahma Nirvana Sthiti, so at least he will differentiate what is Punya and what is Papa. Accordingly, he will have a try to avoid. But the Prabhupada, what is in the Bahunam Janmanaste. In that he says that, Bahunam Janmanaste Jnaninam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. Jnani, after so many births and days, if he that he is the absolute truth and he is the cause of all rules, then he will attain that Brahmanavastiti. So, but it is very difficult. Only 1 in million it will happen. So there ultimately they have to follow the bhakti, Mataji. He has to know that ultimately the God is the absolute truth, the Brahman, and the cause of all root causes.
Yeah.
But ante, see what I know, you said that you don't quote bhakti, but you tell me this point, but here he has mentioned it. Prabhupada has given in it again, no? In the 11th sloka, last lines.
I have highlighted it.
Am I talking some sense?
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
You're right. Thank you, Krishna. Anyone else? Questions, reflections, realizations, corrections?
Hare Krishna Prabhu Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prananji.
These verses, Mataji, like Jnana and Vijnana, is it like that? Knowledge.
So Vigyan is the
And,
application of the
practice.
knowledge.
That is following the rules and regulations. Is that Mataji?
Gyan is the knowledge and Vigyan is the application of the knowledge. Krishna
Yes,
talks
but
about
we are-
Gyan and Vigyan in 7th chapter Bhagavad Gita.
That we are following rules and regulations with determination. Is that Vijnana, Mataji?
We can consider it, but that's not the highest level either. We can consider it. Vigyan and Atmagyan. Above Vigyan is Atmagyan, which is the knowledge of the self. We can technically, you're asking a technical question. So technically, yes. But is that the highest? No, because above Vigyan is Atmagyan. Okay.
Okay.
I think Krishna talks about all these koshas, right? What are the in 8th chapter? Bhagavad Gita, what does he talk about? Annamay,
Annamay, Pranamay, Jnanamay, Jnanamay.
Annamay, Pranamay, Manomay, Jnanamay, Vijnanamay, and
Anandamaya.
Anandamay. So it's like there's a progression there. Okay.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else? Any questions, reflections, realizations, corrections? Let me go offline.